the sponsorship of the Tia Group.
Hello there, and a warm welcome to Rumbo Minero. My name is Cesar Campos, and I am delighted to be here. With me is our exceptional producer, Miguel Zavala, who will be co-hosting this segment.
Hello, Cesar.
How are you doing
it's
today,
nice to spend
Miguel?
time with you here.
And today we are going to try to address important issues because despite the parliamentary recess, the debate on the law has already opened and continues in the Energy and Mines Commission. You have artisanal and small-scale mining with the presence of informal sectors that, according to reports, some news outlets, for instance, El Comercio, are entities that haven't even preserved their registration in the Rainfo. And this is very noteworthy, Miguel.
That's right, Cesar. Well, let's see what will happen because there is quite a bit of concern in the sector regarding the influence of these informal groups within Congress. We have invited Juan Sheput, a former congressman and ex-minister of Labor and Employment Promotion, for this purpose so that he can analyze this topic for us.
For sure. With him, we will talk extensively about this topic, and we will also have Jorge Soto Yen, president of the Mining Engineering Chapter of the College of Engineers. From Lima, the mining project scheduled for the year 2025 will be the subject of discussion with him. Now let's quickly transition to the week's most important mining news.
Here are the key mining news for the week. This text contains 45 characters. Peruvian mining enters a new phase of growth in 2025 with flagship projects like Tia Maria and Zafranal. According to the Ministry of Energy and Mines, MINEM, the accumulated investment in this sector reached $3,756 million between January and October 2024, marking an increase of 1.9% compared to the previous year. For the coming year, a total disbursement of $5,600 million is projected. Reinforcing the efforts to restore the mining industry, between January 4th and 11th, the police forces, working together with the Specialized Prosecutor's Office for Environmental Matters, FEMA, executed a total of 7 successful interdiction operations across the regions of Madre de Dios, Ayacucho, La Libertad, and Lima. In the operations where machinery and assets utilized in the aforementioned illegal activity were confiscated and destroyed, amounting to a total value of 10,784,990 sols. Buenaventura Mining Company reported that El Algarrobo is a mining water project, which will focus on enhancing water infrastructure for the Apostol San Juan Bautista community located in Locuto, Tambo Grande, Piura, that is presently missing this crucial resource. Additionally, it seeks to boost water supply for the community of Locuto. It will generate significant benefits for local agriculture.
I am grateful to Gabriela Chicoma for providing us with the main mining news this week, as we had previously announced, and would like to express our thanks as always. We are happy to have engineer Jorge Soto Yen in the Rumbo Minero studios, where he leads the mining engineering chapter of the College of Engineers, right here in our capital. How are you, engineer?
Thank you very much, my dear.
A pleasure and a great delight truly to have you here. The purpose of calling this meeting is to discuss some of the projects announced by the Ministry of Energy and Mines, which will be supported throughout this year, 2025, and also in 2026. We are talking of an investment of over $8 billion, which represents something extremely important. We are talking about the Antamina replacement from Corani, Tia Maria, Zafranal, among other projects. How do you see the feasibility of all this?
Well, thank you very much for the invitation from the perspective of the College of Engineers. We see these 11 projects as positive. They are important. A break time 0.9s, but it's important to highlight something that always needs to be managed in the Ministry of Energy and Mines 2025, 2026. It could be that these 8 billion, a part of it is 2025. Break time 0.6. And we hope that these will be around 3,500 million, depending regarding the status of projects at the Ministry of Energy and Mines, based on the information available on the website. Some projects are under full evaluation. That is important. There are 2 projects that are already moving forward, like Tia Maria.
Sorry, but the additional announcement from Energy and Mines is that it will also assist and support the unblocking of all these projects.
Yes, not only that, but we also have other additional projects that will be the breakthrough, but it is necessary to consider the most important aspect. Of these projects, 5 are related to copper. And that's what needs to be highlighted. 3 projects are polymetallic. 1 project is iron, 1 project is gold, and 1 project is silver. And moreover, it is imperative that we take into account the fact that nearly 50% of the investment of nearly 8 billion is in Arequipa. In other words, the Arequipa region will always be blessed by the majority of economic that are available. 2 projects are in Apurimac and Ancash, which logically also have 2 major projects like Antamina whose investment amounts to almost 1,600 million. Now, these 8 billion can go a little further. Let's remember that when you are in the middle of detailed engineering, the project can have a variation of plus or minus 15 to 20%. So we would be talking close to 9,600 million at the end of the approvals and constructions of these projects. And that, well, is a very strong economic dynamism for the country.
Correct. In December 2024, the El Algarrobo project was awarded by Proinversión at the end of the year in Piura Buenaventura Mining Company. The average investment for this project is a total of something like $2,700 million. Despite its significance, this award has 40 characters. What importance does this project for the Piura region, and above all, to once again highlight the mineralogical potential that the north of our country possesses?
Look, I think there are two interesting points to consider here. The competitiveness index, regional, yes, and the topic of investments in Piura. Let's remember that Piura is ranked 14th in the regional competitiveness index. 3 or 4 years ago, it was ranked 12th. And the latest export investments that Piura has had have amounted to nearly $3.7 billion. Let's imagine ourselves, during the construction phase of this project, an investment ranging from $700 to $800 million will be made. This represents nearly 20% of Piura's total exports. That's the first point. And secondly, if we analyze the regional competitiveness index, that there was an exhibition not long ago, last year in November at UDIP, we can visualize. Indeed, Piura, through these investments, has the potential to take a significant leap forward and establish itself in at least the 10th position, or position number 11, gradually reducing little by little. Moquegua is a great example of this. Around the year 2000, Moquegua was in the interlude of the regional competitiveness index, progressing onward. Currently, it holds the top position among all. And that is because, starting from the year 2013-14, the investments of mining companies, as in the case of Quellaveco, they provided a very important point for the rapid growth of Moquegua, both in infrastructure, education, etc., thanks to mining. And this is what should truly be leveraged in the Piura region, because these projects, let's remember, they have already been paralyzed for 14 years. And we also have Rio Blanco, which could be another key player in the development of Piura, considering the context logically from the perspective of agriculture and the mining itself. Remember that this project, El Algarrobo, is underground and will not affect agriculture at all. Moreover, a crucial aspect of our studies will be the priority given to water, specifically its hydric aspect. Additionally, if we analyze the statistical data, we can assess how well Piura is performing. In the last 10 years regarding the water issue, we know that we have water stress. 2024 has been quite a lot. Terrible for Piura. Right now, there is a lack of water leading to a drastic reduction in the production of mangoes and various other products. So it's not a matter of mining. If one starts to analyze, it's a matter of nothing being done for Piura. And if these projects had been in place, I believe that Piura's growth would have been much greater.
Indeed, the opposition against Tambo Grande was nonsensical, as it sparked a wholly unnecessary social conflict when it was going to support the development of this region. On the other hand, engineer, in Congress, we are currently discussing the draft of the Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining Law, popularly known as the MAPI Law. This law has gained significant attention, in which media outlets have detected the participation, which does not seem absolutely bad to us or bad in itself, because people from representatives of the mining industry are participating, informally, we might say, right? They are additionally connected with Confemin and Fenamarpe. Break time. The problem is that many of those participating, according to these media reports, there was break time. These are people whose registration in their info is suspended. Break time. So the procedure is starting to become a bit suspicious. Break time 05s. We want to emphasize that while we don't object to informal mining, we strongly oppose the involvement of individuals who engage in activities that are precariously poised between informal and illegal mining. I don't know how you approach this problem.
Look, I think that the Congress of the Republic, or those who are carrying out all this about the MAPE law, have not been able to discern. I believe that it is important to keep in mind that people who will take part in the opinions and in the evaluation of the concerning the rules and the necessary contributions that must be provided, they should logically be those professionals, mining engineers, professionals from the mining context, institutions. It's possible to include small miners too. However, I remain convinced. Individuals who are obligated to be truthful and actively assist in upholding the MAPI law. And in fact, in order to genuinely remove certain individuals, they are with the part of illegality. We must be firm in that. I believe some individuals shouldn't take part. It is my strong belief that regarding this matter, in order to contribute positively towards a MAPI law for the overall benefit of the country, it is crucial to consider mining as a whole rather than just focusing on small-scale mining, because the contexts we are envisioning are very different. I genuinely anticipate that this time around, our policy lies with the mining engineering chapter of the College of Engineers, as previously mentioned at the outset. The government seeks direct participation and will offer necessary guidelines for an effective MAPE law benefiting all Peruvians. Approximate length, 178 characters.
Indeed, a competent engineer, this week has also marked Mining Engineer Week, where the College of Engineers has been involved. He has carried out a series of activities. Tell us a bit about how it has developed. This week has unfolded.
Yes, we've had a very intense and demanding week, but we're very pleased with the participation of mining engineers, civil society, and the academy that has been present, some of them, the authorities of the Peruvian state, and additionally embassies that have participated in this significant event of Mining Engineering Week. As our motto states, we are all part of mining. That is the reason behind the remarkable turnout. Moreover, on Wednesday, we had the exceptional privilege of having the Institute of Mining Engineering deliver a conference, which boosted attendance significantly. In my opinion, he has outlined the essential points regarding what is required to keep working for our nation and ensure that mining persists. The path that every Peruvian needs to follow is growth, which is crucial for all of us. And a lot of joy from one perspective, because we continue to be. So participants recognize that while we work together, government, academia, and civil society, Peru will keep advancing. Thank you all very much. And I will repeat the slogan because everyone liked it. Mining is all of us.
Indeed, mining acts as the primary catalyst for our country's economic progress. Its pivotal role cannot be overstated. Undeniable. Thank you very much, Engineer Soto. We will have you again on another occasion.
Thank you very much.
Jorge Soto Yen, who is the president of the Mining Engineering Chapter of the College of Engineers of Peru in the Lima Departmental Council, joined us for a while. We will now take a short break and return shortly. As we had anticipated, we are pleased to have Engineer Juan Sheput with us for this segment of the program. Former Congressman of the Republic, former Minister of Labor and Employment Promotion, to address a fundamental issue, which is the significant presence of informal groups. In the attempt to intervene in the drafting of the small-scale mining and artisanal mining project, the famous BAPE law. Juan, it's always a pleasure to have you on the
Likewise,
show.
it's a pleasure to be with both of you.
Well, in the statement of what I was pointing out at the moment of introducing you, I think there's the obvious question. Has the media reported the existence, since the media reported the presence, of informal ones, which wouldn't be a problem if it weren't the case, as it has also been added and included that a significant number of them have had their licenses suspended via the reinfo system, and they intervene apparently in a way surreptitious in the drafting on this new law. How do you view it as an ex-congressman and as a former head of an important ministry such as the Ministry of Labor and Employment Promotion, this situation?
My interpretation of the situation is that the Energy and Mines Commission is setting a trap by inviting everyone involved, including the National Society of Mining and Petroleum. This is my analysis conducted in regard to an agenda that is set out openly. They do so with the purpose of discussing the drafting of a law, and what they do is present a proposal that it seems had already been worked on with those illegal sectors you mentioned. On the other hand, the number of people who legitimize themselves by going to the Energy and Mines Commission is so large that it sometimes seems like an assembly of miners who are illegal. To put it simply, I follow politics, I'm watching the Congress channel, and I realize they dominate the conversation, even contradicting what the parliamentarians propose. They are the ones in charge. So I think it's very good that the National Society of Mining and Petroleum did not engage in that game. The way she just walked away, stepped back, I believe it's absolutely brilliant. But on the other hand, what catches my attention is the anomie, the government's indifference. The Minister of Energy and Mines, from the moment a MAPI law is presented, that should be the main input for discussion. We lost everything last year because it was in March that it was announced, and in December that it was presented, in November that it was presented. And it turns out it's useless. When that should be the main. The work element involves making modifications or assessments to produce a final product in some way, which could be subject to change.
There are quite a few controversial topics, Juan, regarding what is being presented in the draft for this future MAPE law. And one of them is establish the easement for mining on abandoned concessions, thereby permitting the extraction activity. Informal miners exploit resources on concessioned lands following a conciliation process. This particular measure is clearly subject to a considerable level of criticism within the industry, since it would affect legal certainty of the sector. Do you think that given how polarized this Congress is, so politicized, meaning that the informal mining sector has a significant and powerful influence in Congress, is there a chance for this to be witnessed during a forthcoming congressional event expected to occur around the year 2026?
Surely, Michelangelo, cast your gaze deeper and express it visually with vivid imagery. The situation, the suffering of the mining company La Poderosa, with those individuals who are taking advantage of locations they have previously disregarded. According to this notion of mining servitude, there would exist legitimate grounds for it to be valid. In other words, the distortion of the concept of mining servitude is of such magnitude that it would allow, if this progresses, that many sectors, which are inactive for various reasons, under the pretext of utilizing the surface, begin to consolidate a de facto power. This type of people who start to say, oh, since you don't exploit it, I will exploit it, I will make the most of it, right? They would have a legal framework that would support them. In an election year, this text contains 22 characters. With pressure from financiers who have shown they have direct influence over Congress, starting with the President of Congress. I've pointed out in this very House that for me, between him and the previous minister, they played, one for being naive and the other for being smart, about the MAPE law that was presented at the last moment, and here are the results. Therefore, this should not be seen in this Congress in any way.
Hey, Juan, the Congress of the Republic has published a law that declares the creation of multi-sectoral authorship to combat illegal mining and related crimes as a matter of national interest and public necessity, the development, socio-economic status of the affected regions. We understand this as part of an initiative to balance. There's this focus that many people have that Congress actually promotes illegal mining. And although there are sectors that have emerged from this measure, nevertheless, without autonomy from this commission, and especially without resources, little can be done. I don't know if you...
Of course, but there is something worse than that, Tia Cesar, which is a declarative law. Therefore, it is of good intention. And as I pointed out, in political circles, it's a trick to fool the naive. If Congress truly wanted to promote a law of such characteristics, multi-sectoral, that has teeth, right? That generates a change. It wouldn't say to declare it of national interest. It would say to create it.
Of course.
From this moment, and starting from the day following its publication, the ministry, otherwise known as the Ministry of Energy, implores the citizens, as the existence of declarative laws tends to clash with the actuality of situations and events. When a politician wants to look good with a sector, doesn't it? Declare it a national interest, build a bridge, make a post, a road, an amic, whatever. So it sounds good. Many individuals assert that the subsequent text is simply an affirmation, a display of friendliness, or merely a deception, my esteemed acquaintances. And on the other hand, as Napoleon rightly said, if you want something not to work, create a commission, right? So for a while now, we've had the Reconstruction Commission, the Anti-Corruption Guard, and look, nothing happens. Here, the big deficit is the lack of political interest from the executive branch. Look, I am convinced, and I've been on both sides of the desk, I've been a minister and I've been a congressman, that the legal initiative in these kinds of matters has to come from the executive. Why is Congress multi-party? It is because Congress encompasses various ideological factions that collectively shape its dynamics. What Congress does with the input from the executive is to incorporate those diverse perspectives and ways of thinking. But for a law to emerge from there, it is absolutely illogical and goes against nature. Hence, it is essential to bring it to the government's attention that they are not taking the initiative in this matter.
One, two questions, also based on what you've said. So what is the specific role of this authority or the High Commissioner appointed to fight against illegal mining conducted by the executive? I mean, where is this person located? Although not, it looks like there has been no advancement at all. There were even conversations about unveiling a strategic plan in September, October, and November, but nonetheless, We currently have no progress thus far.
There is nothing at all, but the most troubling aspect is that this government should have all the necessary elements of judgment to deal with this man. Moves at lightning speed, right? Because it is assumed that they have socialized a project, therefore all the people involved have stated their position. And as a consequence of that socialization, right, to put it into discussion. Between the months of July and November, they have managed to develop a finalized product which is meant to serve as the initial reference for that particular gentleman's task. Thus, it turns out that there is no interest at all. That should be clear. I believe that at this moment, the price of gold being so high, informal mining, which is reportedly already moving $12 billion, is 3 times more than drug trafficking. Isn't it? It's having a terrible interference, both in the executive branch and the legislative branch. Look, 4 months and not a single paper. It is evident that there is an utter lack of political determination.
Finally, Juan, we are obviously entering this year, 2025, to heat up the pre-electoral atmosphere. Deadlines for political alliances until July. In short, to conclude regarding the entire record and the call that the president must make no later than April for the general elections and legislative elections. And without a doubt, the issue of combating mining, formal mining, because that is a rallying cry deeply rooted within the radical left of our country, will undoubtedly emerge. Hey, anyway, what situation do you find yourself in? The way in which such messages can resonate. We support environmentally conscious and ethically responsible mining practices that are committed to sustainability and social welfare. The vast majority of formal mining, which accounts for over 90%, does not meet the required standards. Similarly, a significant portion of informal mining fails to meet those same standards. Do you think these types of messages will resonate?
Yes, I believe that unfortunately. Well, while it is true that you all provide an important counterbalance, you know, the illegal sectors have figured out how to exert influence and power, don't you think? They are aware of what Parliament represents. In a context of generating public order, in a context related to the promotion of a certain sector, even if it is an illegal sector, break time. So, haven't they already noticed that having parliamentarians is effective? Break time, having resonance boxes in different media, particularly in provinces, proves effective. However, these individuals are using this power for personal gain rather than benefiting society, engaging in politics for their own criminal agendas. Break time. Thus, the business world has to recognize that places like mining direction are very important. Communication is vital. It serves as a precious instrument, yet politics is equally important. Politics is incredibly important. They have discovered the software, so let us allow politicians to manage all aspects, even more than the executive are. They oversee it through legislation of the legislative power. Therefore, measures like the ones that have just been implemented, it is feasible for political parties to receive private funding, is a tool that should lead the business sector to thoroughly discuss. The issue at hand goes beyond the president as it pertains to the need for national representation in order to oppose those who openly fund illicit activities. In simpler terms, illegal mining has been funding activities since Ollantaytamala's time, and there have been scandals about it.
As it occurred with drug trafficking previously.
Correct. So, I believe that in an election year, one must act without any complexes, knowing that there is an enemy ahead.
Juan, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show and to listen to and appreciate your insightful reflections on this topic.
Thanks.
We will focus on you for a future chance.
Happy to help, thanks.
Engineer Juan Sheput, who was once a congressman and held the role of labor ministry head, graced us with his presence at Rumo Minero. Now let's take a brief pause and then proceed onward to our discussion. As we enter the final part of the program, Miguel, it's worth mentioning that the interviews we've conducted today have been they are positive, constructive, and especially looking ahead, right? Well, what Jorge Soto Yen, president of the Mining Engineering Chapter, has pointed out to us, too, of the College of Engineers of Peru in the Departmental Council. From Lima, it is very important to highlight, right, that of the majority of the 11 projects that the government intends to unblock and help them to at least finish the stages. In the cases where the execution of their investment is still pending, the majority are copper, with 47% concentrated in Arequipa, which is known as a mining region. They must also back these projects themselves, which is very important.
Absolutely. Additionally, it is significant to note what Juan Sheput has pointed out about the politicization of the MAPE law topic, in which, well, there is a worry, right, about the participation of these informal groups in the formulation. Well, it seems that this law could be made to fit their requirements, right?
No, and the engineer Sheput, I believe it says something reasonable that the government needs to show a bit more commitment in following up on these debates. It's not just a matter of telling the gentlemen of Congress to take care of it themselves. and we are going to see what any nonsense happens, and I will express myself through. All of a sudden, when considering the legislation, it's not solely about that. In this instance, they do need to provide some more evidence, correct? Of coherence, follow-up. It is essential to have empathy, if only to ensure that there are no leaks given the current representation of Parliament we possess, which is a trap within the MAPE law itself.
That's right, Cesar.
We are looking forward to that. Thank you very much. My name is Cesar Campos, and we have been working alongside Miguel Zavala in presenting this chapter of Rumbo Minero. Peru Construye is here to talk about construction and infrastructure, so please stay where you are and don't move.
By the year 2025, Peru's mining investment is projected to exceed $6 billion, further establishing the country as a prominent global mining destination. Through Expo Mineros and Suppliers, MinPro 2025, we strive to facilitate commercial transactions for the major mining industry and its suppliers. Don't miss your opportunity to reserve a stand and engage in the most comprehensive mining fair in the sector. This event will feature exhibitions, conferences, and business meetings, all conveniently located at the Lima Convention Center from June 24th to 25. Take advantage of this chance to conduct business with Peru's leading economic force. Ensure you don't miss out and secure your stand at minproperu.com.